I have read your book, and I'm fascinated by not just what's in the book, but the time.
I should even get a copy of it. So.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
I think send them to
yeah.
me.
Let's.
Right. So your book,
Uche, yeah, Uche should get a copy of it.
right? Yeah, get a copy of this book. More copies. Cool. So personally, I'm not I'm not a big writer, and I try to read. I try my best to read. Nowadays, audiobooks does the magic. Just, I'm so fascinated by the amount of time and concentration it takes to write a book. It's fascinating. When I'm reading it, it's a challenge to read a book, not to talk of writing a book. So I'm really fascinated, and when I read your book, it was really nice. I have some questions about your book, but I want us to be on action while you just ask those questions. But before we start, I want to give you the mic for you to say anything else that you want to say before we get started with the show.
Thank you very much. I think for me, first of all, I want to appreciate everyone who has turned up despite the tight schedules they run. It's always a of joy that you call people at short notice and they leave your job and come. So I want to thank you for being here. There's not much to say on the side, but let the show begin.
Awesome. That's it. Action? Action? Okay. Action. Mr. KOK, you need no introduction. I plan to say that, when I was planning the whole script, but now you need introduction. You guys are supposed to laugh. Louder, please. All right. So when I was designing the script, I was hoping I would have just Nigerians in the room, but now I have Americans and other specs. I'll put it that way. So I will just introduce them real quick. And I would introduce him the best that I can, but I also let him introduce himself. So now we are live. Mr. KOK with me, Kanayo. He is a movie actor, is a producer. I am recently following him on Instagram and all social media platforms on YouTube. He has his own movie production company, and he's doing a great job. His pictures are great. His directory and delivery are great. I'm also more intrigued by his book and the life he has built for himself and his family. I've been watching his movie since, 1992-ish, because that was when I believe the Living in Bondage was released. Now, anyone in the room who doesn't know when that was released should check it out. So the middle seats are for the VIPs. The middle seat over there are for the VIPs, if they're here. So the VIPs are still on the way. So we have seats over there. Yeah. Thank you, and thanks for the cooperation. I appreciate, wow, beautiful faces. All right, I see. And gentlemen, you can be more gentlemanly if you give the ladies seats to sit down, and you see. Awesome. Good. That's good. Gentlemen, that's good. Awesome. Now, since the house is back, let's just go back to what we're saying. To me, he's a legend. And to so many people I know, he's a legend. And you need to go look Mr. Kanayo, big time actor. But now I want to give him the mic to introduce himself and share how he sees the world at the moment with the fame and the fortune and the accomplishments on his belt. Let him tell us, Mr. KOK. First of all, you're welcome to my show, and I want you to introduce yourself.
Thank you very much once again. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel really honored to be here. It's always a thing of joy to be invited to speak share knowledge, to embrace wisdom, and impact on the people who have been watching you on television from the different countries of the world. Africa is not a lack of people like us, but because of our relationship, I come into the United States, you pick me up from the airport, and our journey starts. So I want to thank you for that. And once again, to thank those who are just coming to the room to say you're welcome. If anything interests you, nothing stops you from giving us a round of applause, because that's what the show demands. There must be certain things of interest. Let's not have a dry moment. I was born as Anayo Modestus Onyekwere. That's an O in my name, on 1st of March, 1962. I don't hide my age, because I'm still fine looking for my age. I have no reason to change my date of birth. And I don't work for government. So I have no reason to change my date of birth to anything. I had my secondary school in Aba, then old Imo State, then University of Lagos, where I read mass communication, philosophy as a first degree. I went on to get a master's degree from the University of Lagos, and went on to read law, full degree at the University of Abuja. And I was called to the Nigerian bar as a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria in the year 2020. That's it. I mean, everything you want to know about me, please ask Google. Google will tell you. Whatever it is about me is not hidden. As I'm here, the Nigerian government knows I'm here. Google knows I'm here. And you know I'm here. So the story is complete. So I have put in about 1992, yes, that's for home videos. Because distinguished my career from television through the home videos, because we were all acting for the Nigerian Television Authority from 1980 and so on. Don't worry, some of you are not born, so don't worry. You don't have to worry about 1980. Maybe your parents haven't even met. But you see, the journey started a long time ago, before the home videos came in 1992. Because when you talk about people like us, sometimes people think it's from 1992. No, we were on television before then. But then the fire came with the making of Living in Bondage in 1992. And the rest, like they say, is history of where we are today.
Thank you very much for that quick bio, this expository. Now, let's go straight into my first question for tonight. And just for FYI, I will be asking him questions for 30 minutes, which I already used 10 minutes. And after that, if you have questions for him, the mic will pass to you to ask the question. So, yeah, write something down. Looking at the original Living in Bondage, 1992, and the sequel that just came out about a few years ago, Living in Bondage.
Breaking Free.
Yeah, Breaking Free. I think it was directed by Ramsey Noah. Correct. What was it like for you, and when you were introduced back to the story, how were you able to perceive the story, and what difference did you find between the story of 1992 and the sequel that came out a few years ago?
Well, you know, there's always this tendency for anybody who is a doctor to ask the children to study medicine. There's also the tendency that if you're a lawyer, you want your son or daughter to be a lawyer. There's always that tendency. But people push their children to study what they study. So Living in Bondage, made in 1992, and Living in Bondage, made in 2018, 2019, Breaking Free. gave us the opportunity to x-ray the families of these people after 38 years. What became of the families they had? The tendency for a bad guy to have bad children. The tendency for a good guy, whether the children continue to be good. I don't know how many of us here, because we'll be asking the wrong questions if they didn't watch Living in Bondage 1992 and Living in Bondage Breaking Free in 2018, 2019. So I don't know how many people here watched it, but if you did, you would see that Andy's son, this is what he became. Entered into another occult and all this stuff, and then tried to get rich and all this stuff. I, as a father, I remained who I was. The father was the only person who refused to be born again. Yeah. So the tendency for people to seek higher power is always there. And this justifies what the society should always emulate, that somebody is expected to have children who would better the society, not to make it worse. So the child and his child and the other person's child became something of seeking a higher power, that they even went to join a group in South Africa that's the central body for all the negative powers that rule the world. Whether you like it or not, no matter how much of a Christian you are, there are powers. And what difference it made is that people still went on and the children carried on. And the tendency of people, living a lie is always there. The tendency of people making money from negative ways and trying to influence society will always be there. Like in the Breaking Free, I went on to contest for the governorship of the state. So that's exactly what we have as leadership in Nigeria today. People who make money from non-legal sources, plowing it back to legal sources to begin to rule society and dominate. So that's just the difference and the lessons.
Wow. Well, that's bad. Pretty bad. What inspired you looking at your movie career and being acting for a couple of decades now? You decided to start your own TV production company. What inspired you?
Well, I don't know how many people are here and who are listening online and so on. My TV name on YouTube is Kanayo TV. But that's a broader aspect of Simplicity Associate Productions. So if you're looking for me on YouTube, it's Kanayo TV. And I'll be happy if you can subscribe immediately, because that's the only way we can do business. Now, having been there for quite a while, one has been able to stamp a feet on believability. Believability is, like it sounds, the ability to do a thing and people in society who have been seeing you for a long time can believe in what you're doing. So my trying to own a channel is born out of the desire to do better works than other people are doing, to produce stories that have social relevance, to show people how to do it. Because there's this thing that's happening on YouTube, for instance. The channel established for everyone who hasn't got the wherewithal to produce for bigger platforms. It gives everybody the opportunity to produce a content in this small room, and then put it on a channel. And when you get to the number of hours, the managers of the channel want, they monetize it. So you can actually be in the comfort of your room and you're earning money indoors. So I needed to teach the younger ones how to do better business. I needed to teach people how to create content that's worth it. Like, you see, it's being controlled, the platform, by the ages of 18 to 25 years. And you can understand the kind of decisions that an 18-year-old to 25 could make. So sometimes all they preach is love, love, love. All right? But is life really about love, love, love? Are there not other ingredients that make up love? You know, unfortunately, the platform called YouTube has a lot of restrictions. So you can't show blood, you can't inflict harm, you can apply strong force. For me, as a filmmaker, I don't think it's realistic. You should be able to slap somebody and we see where the mark came. And so that's creativity. It has nothing to do with violence. Because when you watch a movie, for instance, and an arrow is shot and the slow motion of that arrow tears somebody's eye, it has a feel on you who's watching. And if you're a creative person, you will say they did that feel very well. YouTube restricts you to doing this, and that's why, for me, it's killing creativity. It's putting creativity where it's not supposed to be. So there are a lot of other reasons why I established, but these are the main ones. To bring clarity, to bring believability, to bring competence, and so on. And to also, on the YouTube channel, for instance, members of us who are involved, they also rate us higher than the newer actors. Yes. So it's also an addition to the body of filmmaking that people like us do YouTube, do Amazon, do Netflix, do Showmax, and so on. These are different platforms, and that's what it is. So
I read your book, The Castillo. Beautiful, packaging and beautiful cover. Great. When I read the book, I found out it was more about the thriller and betrayal and everything. I would like you to share with my audience really what the book is about. And before you do that, I also want to ask you, the book really sounds like a movie to me. The question is, when you are done introducing your book, I want you to also tell the audience, are you planning to make a movie out of the book? And yes is your answer. Is it going to go on Netflix?
Oh, well, very simple. There's some gentleman who asked me to tell him all about my book. And I said, if I tell you all about the book, you will not buy. So you go ahead and read. So I'm just going to tell you, if you love legal thrillers, this is the John Grisham from Africa. The John Grisham from Africa is authored by myself, Kanayo, and Tony Ekwaba, who is a magistrate in Abuja, Nigeria. It's a story of suspense, it's a story of betrayal, it's a story of the intrigues that go on in especially families where there's a will. I don't know any of you who's listening to me who has seen the reading of a will and the politics behind it and so on. But this is unputdownable. Chapter 1 leads you to chapter 2. Chapter 2 leads you to chapter 3. Chapter 3 leads you to 4, 5, and until you finish the book. So if you are cooking soup or rice, don't start the book, because it will definitely burn on fire. I can assure you that if you're ready, you will know. Because the story is somebody's leaving an office. He gets to the car park, his car is not there. What happened to his car? Now he starts looking for his car, and there's an assassin waiting for him. So it takes you from one angle of drama to the other. But be that as may, it's now on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon. But also, to edit, I don't sell books in the United States. I sign books, and people appreciate what I do. Like, for instance, what gave rise to the writing of The Testator is just one little thing. We found out, Tony and I, that the reading culture in Africa is dying off. people don't read again. If you remember, no, Alex, I don't know how old you are, and some of our members of the audience, but how we were brought up is like how people in the West behave. When you see somebody from the West, when they're at a bus station or train station, they are reading something while they're waiting for the train. The thing is that money making, fast money making is becoming the norm back in Africa, not just restricted to Nigeria. So people are not reading again, people want to make fast money. But then we know that the value of education cannot be undervalued. People need to have knowledge. People need to read. A reader is a leader. So this book was written out of the generosity to revive the reading culture in Nigeria, near Africa. And I would want any person who wants to gain knowledge of a legal trailer to go get the status. That's all I will say about it.
So the other question is it going on Netflix?
Oh yeah, okay. Now, I had proposed with Tony that in 2024, that we're going to start doing the screenplay for it to be on Netflix. But the fact is this, money whole job, like Igbos will say, Igbo job. We don't know what platform that's going to exist in the next 1 or 2 years. It may be bigger than Netflix. Yes, today, Netflix is one of the biggest platforms. We have intentions of producing it for Netflix, either as a full drama or series, because sometimes it could be a series of 6 episodes or 12 episodes, and so on. But this is also an opportunity for me in the United States to, I've been praying that I'll get a Netflix direct contact of, I mean, we should, they were in Nigeria, but also somewhere along the line there was a dislocation. I want to believe and pray that somebody who's listening to my voice will make some contacts by which we can bring up projects like this and other projects that are worth it, without necessarily going through or climbing an aeroplane tree without bare hands, just to be on Netflix. It's actually a very big task to get Netflix contacts and aggregators and so on. But I just pray. I have one project now. It's got about 26 episodes. It's going to be the best written world-class drama. But then, who has the Netflix contact is the issues having happened. It's not a problem, but I see it as a challenge. I wish somebody can hear the voice.
I see. Well, moving forward with my next question. How was your background as an actor influence your approach to legal cases? And before we go ahead with that question, would you mind sharing with my audience your, I wouldn't call it an adventure, but I'll call it a different process you've taken in life to becoming a lawyer. Can you share with my audience a little bit about that? And if at all it is the case, is there any way you being a lawyer and an actor kind of meet or have to do with each other? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, well, it's very obvious what a lawyer does, what an actor does. Different stages. Like Shakespeare said in what is the stage where every man has a role to play? The lawyer plays his role in the courtroom. The medical doctor plays his role in the operation room. The actor plays his role on television. They all are playing their part on the stage of life. So, between law and acting, one stands in the court to defend a matter. One uses his voice to send message and set an agenda. So what the lawyer does in the courtroom is what the actor does on the stage, through television or radio. So my progression to being a lawyer, what it has taught me is to see legal angles to a business. The business of filmmaking from a legal perspective. It also engineered me to look at life more holistically. Like if a discussion is going on here now as a lawyer, I will wait for you at an angle to make a mistake. It could be a common mistake, be an honest mistake. But the fact is that my study of law has prepared me for greater responsibilities, for greater jobs, and so on. But it has also given me a bigger voice to speak for those who cannot speak for themselves, to answer for those who mourn, and speak for the oppressed, fight for human rights, and so on. That's what my background as a lawyer has given me. I mean, an actor sets an agenda. It could be about devastation of an area and what has caused it. For instance, when you, in Nigeria, I don't know if you guys know what is called pure water, water in a sachet, all right? People have a tendency to drink and drop it or dump it on the road. And an accumulation of it blocks sewages and so on. So if a flood happens and rainfall and constitutes into a flood and now affects houses in a particular area, you could dramatize it on why a community was exterminated because of carelessness of leaving sachet water on the roads. So it's an agenda, and you have driven that message from a dramatic perspective that affects the whole society. So law and entertainment can marry each other in different perspectives on different areas, but they all stand in defense of society, for entertainment, for information, for education. I mean, when cases are cited, you get educated from it. It could be a case that happened in 1861, it could be a case that happened in 1774, and so on. So you learn from it. And that's what is also in drama. When you watch, you learn your lessons.
Okay, thank you. That's been a whole information right there. Now, looking at time, is there anyone in the audience who have a question concerning what he said? Anyone who has questions? All right, we have a gentleman over there with, can someone help with passing the mic? Please help passing the mic to him. You start with introducing yourself and you go ahead with your question.
Hello, my name is Philip Fofo. Here with my beautiful son. It's an honor to meet you, sir. We've actually shaped our lives back from Cameroon, and I've been watching your movies right from childhood. And we've kept that here because each time we see you, we know the world, you're already acting in it. And it's been amazing. But you said something today while you were saying that the youth of nowadays, the mentality of the big scheme get money. As someone asks you, which is going to be like an advice to the youth, what advice do you give to this generation with their intention of quickly getting money in any way possible? Because you mentioned that the majority of the time is always going through the negative route. So in a generation that is growing now, and everything is like, we really just want to make it be like a statement they usually make. So what advice are you going to give to us growing up to ensure that that doesn't become like a stumbling block or something we fall over, and then we're actually achieving something the right way?
Right, very, very simple, but not as simple as ABC. Hard work pays. There's dignity in labor. Every young man must learn, or should learn, that your bread is best buttered when you make some hard work out of it. Just like if you're a young man who depends on people dashing you money, dashing as in the case in Africa, whether you're talking from Cameroon or from Gambia or from Ghana, Senegal, Sierra Leone, and so on. We know what dashing money is. The young man who depends on people dashing you money, definitely you're not going to live for a long time. So our young men must try to create skills for themselves. What does education do for you? Education is supposed to remove the cobweb you have in your eye. And then you're supposed to start creating. The problem is that many young people, when they leave school, only prepare themselves for white-collar jobs. And that's dangerous. What happens to when you're in the university, you're already creating something? Even in Cameroon, how many young people will be proud enough while they're in secondary school to go and work in an eatery and earn? Teaches you financial management, teaches you hard work. But you know, when there are people who believe that farming is dirty man's work, we have a problem. When you have a government that does not set up an enabling environment for the private sector to create jobs, is a problem. So most of the employment problems we have is because, one, the young people don't prepare themselves. You're in the university, you're not preparing for any skill. I mean, guys, all of you Africans here, how many of you here know how to plait hair? Some of our women here who came from Africa can't even plait hair, but it's a source of making money. How many of us as men here know how to even connect bulb in the house? Small electrical bulbs. But you see the small, let me call them Oyibo, people in the West here, there are little things they do in their houses without anybody's support. Africa denied you of that, you didn't learn that from home. How many men here know how to cook? It's a problem. It's a problem. Why? Many of our parents didn't allow us to come into the kitchen. It's that the woman's education ends in the kitchen. WEEK, W-E-E-K, woman's education ends in the kitchen. So there are certain things we need to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Now you live in the United States, you must learn the new world order, and that's some kind of independence, not all the independence. Most of us here, I can boil water to make tea. I don't know how to cook. So I'm part of the problem. Because our mothers said to us, if you know how to cook, that means your wife will not enjoy her marriage. So we came from a background where we are denying things, and we are not correcting it. Those of us who now live here, there are certain things you're doing, you've thrown away all the African things and so on, and that's not good. So young people must and should understand there's dignity in labor, and that for those of you who are Christians, there's always a backlash of defrauding somebody and becoming rich. It doesn't last. Wow.
So I have a question for you. Having witnessed decades of Nigerian history, what is your perspective on the current state of the national unity?
Well, there are questions I would avoid, But like Senator Melea would say in Nigeria, you say the truth, you die. You don't say the truth, you also die. So why don't you say the truth and die? There are questions that sound political, but when I talk about national unity, I'll tell you the tripod on which Nigeria's lies. That tripod has been broken. There used to be a time where an Igbo man was welcomed very well in the northern part of Nigeria. There used to be a time where you could coexist freely in Lagos. Nobody wants to know where you're from as long as you're contributing There used to be a time where you could live anywhere and so on. In 1974-75, the then head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, established the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC. It was meant to engineer unity, respect for culture, oneness amongst those who have left university. So an Igbo man can go to Sokoto, do his service, okay? Learn the language there, marry a girl who's from Sokoto, and then be happy. Exchange of culture. It's no longer the case. Now, of course, you know, in war, before now, Red Cross people were never killed. Pregnant women were never killed. I mean, all these old people were not touched. Children, all those things have changed. So when you talk about national unity, I would say tell you it's on paper. The real people who are the citizens are not happy because government has not helped in the matter of appointments. It's ruled by religious sentiments, ethnic sentiments, and so on. You come from a certain part of the country, you don't get appointed into a particular thing. You come from a particular part of the country, you have a particular religion, you cannot do this, you cannot do this. So there are two laws for different people. And somewhere, one law will make somebody go free who is from a particular part of the country. And then questions are now asked of how this nation. So people are more interested in giving what you call patriotism, patriotic to the extent that they worship the president, not the country. And this does not enhance national unity. So young people and so on are getting a wrong image of what should be a country's strength. If you're not from this country, part of the country, no. If you, just like one of the politicians would say, if you come into our party, your sins are forgiven. The country does not run like that. I mean, what have you set up financial crime agencies to do? Like what the CIA does and so on, FBI and so on. It should be no respecter of persons. It should look at the facts of the matter. And so in a case where people have lost interest in judiciary and so on, it's a clear case of kata bahaladi. So the national unity you talk about, like I said, it's supposed to be a tribal, but then there's been a breakdown of that tribal. People are not really happy about what's going on in all sectors. And when people are not happy about their country, they cannot work for the development of that country. I rest my case on this. The fact is that the nation still survives, but the citizens are being taken for granted in terms of employment, in terms of freedom of speech, in terms of movement, and so on. And that's not good for economy.
You recently called out world Nigerians for selective generosity. What do you think is the biggest obstacle in developing a strong culture of genuine philanthropy?
Let me correct that impression. I didn't call out generous people for what they're doing, but I made a statement, and it was a statement of fact. And that statement of fact is that a particular gender receives more favor. I mean, every rich man, wealthy, flourishing, prosperous, you can do what you want to do with your money. Yeah, I mean, it's your money. But then, there is a message your actions may send. If the only people who receive help from you are of a particular gender, there's a message you send to a young man who just left the university, who is trying to establish a small business or get a job and you tell them, my friend, go and work hard. But to the other gender, you finance whatever they bring. I just spoke about it with the tendency that it has a way of yielding people and the goodwill. So it's been known all over our country that most of our ladies use the latest phones, drive the latest cars, which if they worked in the industry for 100 years, they cannot buy it. So people have the tendency to start asking us, not be on the same industry with these people. That's the danger in it. So they think, so other men think we're not working hard. Waiting man do, man don't do. That's what I'm trying to say.
But that, okay, that statement should be included with the Bible.
Oh yeah, sure. Because it's an issue.
But why do you think it went viral?
It went viral because my name is Kanayo O. I do not fear any human being that stands. I speak my mind. Just like, I don't know whether you guys watched the video when my first son, I took his first salary and said to him, no pastor should wash your head and say this is first seed. Not be you trainer. I pay the university fees. When he ends, brings to me, that's African culture. I take whatever it is and bless him. We're not in America. We're in Africa, that's African culture. Such things go viral because people have such things in their mind, but who says it becomes a problem. I have the courage to say it. Because I had the courage to say this. And if I say it and you're a man, you don't want to contribute to whatever I'm doing, you know, because
that's funny. Okay. As a cultural impresario that you are, what is your opinion on the impact of religion or traditional Nigerian values?
very sad. Very sad. Religion did a lot of damage to Africa. I feel sad about this because our people, African brothers, embraced it hook, line, and sinker. And were told to relinquish your name. Your Igbo name is satanic. Why is it that every person in Africa has something following him from his father's compound? Why is it that those who are in America here, Americans, nothing follows them from their father's compound? It's an African thing, and it's part of the Jesus ministry, because people have set up business in the name of Jesus. And that's unfortunate. Many people are religious, they are not spiritual. I'm spiritual, not religious. I don't follow, I'm a Christian, yes, but on what's Christian? Followers of Christ. Because I believe, but I'm a traditionalist. It's not all they tell you that you need to, there are questions you need to raise. There are interrogations you need to make about, ask questions about Christianity. The business that went on between the Catholic Church and the Anglican and so on as part of what the black people went through. You should research these things. But the kind of, just like here in America and so on, maybe, the kind of shouting they do during prayer in Africa, is it the same here? It's a rhetorical question. Who was saying, is it that the devils in Africa or the demons in Africa are hard hearing? They know the hear well, so you have to shout and make noise and so on. There's a problem. People are using Jesus as business, and that's what we're saying no. And the economic realities on ground are not helping Africans. Do you pray for there to be light? You go and work for it, for a system. What do you hope to get when you go to the hospital? Good medical attention. There's no in Jesus' name about it. But here, you get to hospital in Nigeria, in Ghana, the doctor, first of all, kneels down and does opening prayer for 30 minutes. It's not the kind of religion they practice here. They trust in the power and what God has made them. A medical doctor is a medical doctor. His expertise. I didn't come to that. I don't, like this, there's this place I went to for my physiotherapy because of some back pain. I come in at 9, they're still praying. They want me to join. I said, I'm not a member of this company. I'm not a member of the organization. I can't join your prayer. For what? I said, for the doctor, when I tell to me, let me get out of here. That's not what I came here for. So we have so bastardized religion that we think everybody should be shouting Jehovah Emmanuel with us. No. God is not hard hearing. Your God is what you make. You know, there are people who cannot pray for more than 1 minute. God hears your prayer. So why should somebody be praying for 30 is praying for 1 hour, 2 hours? Submitting what question? Submitting what petition? You know. So Africans must have a review. That those who brought this religion to us told us our Anayo is bad. It has to be bitter. For what? We have grown up. We must ask questions. Just like the questions that African presidents are asking at the United Nations General Assembly. Time has come for us to. We can't be coming to you every day to beg, aid, and so on. Africa is blessed. So most people ask questions, especially from those. And one of the worst things that happens in Africa is this. When a pastor speaks, his members see him as God. You dare not even criticize him on the critics of newspaper, even when he has done something. Even when he impregnates a parishioner. You don't even question for what? I'll question you. Are you God? So that's the kind of traditional things that happen that people like us say this is what religion has brought us. Religion is supposed to be man's way of finding God. All right? So Africans must have a review of their religious beliefs and so on. And know that, teach your child that there is a force, like the philosophers in the early years couldn't identify and call it God. They said there was a higher force. They recognized a higher force. Okay? And they felt they didn't know the name to call it. All right? So it's good you teach your children that you didn't just happen. You didn't just fall from the sky. There's a process through which there's a 9-month period, and goes to my son here, looks like me. It couldn't have happened by accident. That's the first we're talking about. People in the recent now called God. So that God that makes a man and a woman to have an intercourse and the pregnancy results and something that looks like me is born. It can only be God. But the fact is that men are now doing business in the name of God, and that's the Jesus ministry. Relegating everything about our culture. And I say no, our culture is beautiful. I read the sociology of law. I mean, if I read philosophy first before I went to read law. So there are a lot of studies carried out. Africa had a beautiful environment before its colonizers came. And what they have done over the years is to tell you how black you are and so on. Black is a beautiful color. Whatever any other person has is another color and so on. Nobody must feel inferior. And that's why intellectually, when people sit, how do you judge them? By the content of what they have here, not by their color. And that's why some dark-looking guys have made the best in medicine, in law, all over the world. It's not a matter of color.
Wow, that's, please a round of applause. It's sitting here for about an hour and encapsulating topics like this is it's something to really acknowledge. It's the conceptualization of your thought process is also the thing that I really appreciate such. Do we have any questions concerning what's being said so far? Any question? Any question? All right, you. Please go ahead, introduce yourself and ask a question.
Hi, my name is Marcel. First, I was going to say how proud we are in Nigerian country, how proud we are of what you put into the film industry, your hard work, your resilience, and how far you Nigeria, to be honest, how far you stretched for. My question is, how does the role you play in movies affect your kids, maybe how they're growing in life, how do people see the future, like, how do you think it harms them, or do you think it's just fun?
Okay. All right, please give me a round of applause. That's not a round of applause. Okay. The good news is Montel is my second son. That's why I say give me a round of applause. Yeah, he's the reason I'm in the United States to see him, because I saw him last September last year. So he's been a good boy. I walked into his office some part of town, and they said, "Oh, my, your son is outstanding." And that's a story we should hear from all our sons. Now, my role, there's a difference between TV. TV is TV, reality is reality. I don't have any pot or juju pot under my bed. Monte can tell you that. Yeah, and again, let me say this in pidgin. Person will be police. Person where papa na police. No say papa they arrest people. Do you get that? Person where papa na police. No say papa they arrest people. Your children who are the last people to know how powerful you are. They only get to see people struggling to take picture with you. It don't concern them. So I work freely with him, but sometimes it gets to be a burden. Why it gets to be a burden is that you don't get to see them always. For those of us who don't carry ourselves as stars, we live of the lowest, of the lowest of humility. It becomes something good for the family. And then you become a family man to be admired. I mean, sometimes before he came here, sometimes I'm on location, I was for 3 months. So it was even worse when I was studying law, because I'll come into Lagos in the night. By the morning, I fly out. So I thank him and his brothers and sisters, or siblings, for tolerating me. But the fact still remains that it's always a thing of joy that you're doing a job for which society appreciates you. Not just society. My popularity and appreciation is more from outside Nigeria. The Cameroonians appreciate me a lot. That's why one of my best dishes are dole and eru. Not in Jama. So whenever I go to other communities, Zambia, Uganda, Senegal, and so on, they appreciate me, and this is the reason some of us have stayed back in the industry, that appreciation, because I could have gone into other aspects of business to make more money. So for me and my family, it's always a thing of joy for them to tolerate you and also believe in what you're doing. It pays off. How much more you walk into a country, the immigration person who's going to stamp you, it says, "Mr. Kanayo, how you doing? Welcome to the United Kingdom. I watched you last night. How do you feel?" That's it. Would they have any reason to refuse you visa or ask you to go back? So that's how impactful our journey has been. So for the family, it's a plus, knowing that if you get there, who's your father? Kanayo. Oh, please, this way. Makes it easy. So that's the road we have played, and that's what it is. As for the roles one plays, it has got nothing to do with what I am. I have slept in the coffin up to 30 times. yet I'm healthier than many people. So being in the coffin, if I elongate my life. So the roles I play has nothing negative to do in my life. It enhances, it's a character. I'm trying to explore and exploit a character. And that character is what you identify me with. It's not always that people will say, maybe, that some people will say, you play juju character, ritual, and so on. Please follow the storyline. From today, follow the storyline. We're trying to correct certain things that happen in Africa. If you annoy an American here, he puts a gun. If you annoy an African, he goes to the Jew house. I've been alive. I rest my case.
Awesome. So, any other question in us? Okay, we have one more question. All right. Pastor him, please, your name and go ahead with your question.
Hello, my name is Sue. From Cameroon, also like my question is, I guess, social media, and the internet, what advice do you use to say new parents or future upcoming parents? Because nowadays, kids, they're always online, they're always watching things. They have access to a lot of information, they also access to a lot of things that, I would say, take them down the wrong path, like negative path. And I need to know what's going on. I was born in Mr Kanayo O, I didn't have any phones or anything or internet or anything like that. So never affected me. But see, future kids will probably have to deal with that. I want to know what the advice is.
Thank you. Thank you, my Cameroon brother. Very quickly, some of us here, as long as it's Oyibo that does it, no wahala. That's the problem many of us have. The internet is good, just like AI is good, social media is good. But for everything that is damn good, there's also a bad aspect of it. Some of us here don't know. Most of the cartoons our children watch is more violent than the movies you watch. But you take it that it's, no, you won't make it now. Have you seen a cartoon made by an African? So we must mind what we do. When we think we're giving our children some privileges, we're destroying them, their sight, and so on. Has any of you wondered what your children watch? You just leave them. It's a new world. It's America. In Africa, we still give a knock on the head to strengthen people. Not, it's out of love. But here, you guys have restrictions of you can't do that by the law. Okay, good luck. But the fact is this: it is the smallest unit of the society is the family. If the family is disconnected, then disconnected families, when they meet, cannot build a better society. So we need to pay attention to what our children watch. Like, for instance, there are families who decide, unless my daughter gets to this age, she won't get a phone. What's your home policy in your house? What's your home policy in your house? Maybe your son is 10, buying latest iPhone. Many African families, because of quick money, don't ask their children. Don't even tell their children, you can't have this now until you get to this age. We think it's freedom. We think we're giving them. Sometimes we're destroying them. It's good to embrace, like I'll tell everybody in Africa right now, please embrace AI. It is here, it is here. Just like the social media came, it's here, it's here. What aspect of the social media are you on? There are people, there's an aspect of the social media you get to, morning to night, you see naked women dancing. Okay, waste your data on it. There are also aspects of the social media that create content that you earn dollars from. That's the aspects of the social media I am. But we don't have to go to the same church. Choose your own ministry. I've chosen my own ministry. But the fact of the matter is, we will have people who will say of us, that man influenced me. What that man said influences who I am today. Can people say that of you? So please, watch out for your children. Don't give them all they require. And what I have learned as lesson in my life is that many of the children who have gone on to become the most successful are the ones who trekked, who didn't have everything while they were growing up.
Any other question in the house? One more question tonight? All right, I see the beautiful lady. Please pass the mic to the beautiful lady, your name and your question. Louder, please. Louder, please.
It's very inspiring to me here today. Just everything you said, super excited for it. I learned more than that. My question is for young people starting out, doing about you see a lot of success. What advice would you give to someone that is done, especially in this world where there's so many people doing so much? You feel like you're not doing enough, or you don't have the tools or the resources to really succeed with this attention economy. So what advice would you give to someone to be stable?
You get all that she said. Okay. That's your question. Reiterate the question.
So just to echo your question is, for young people starting out, what is his advice, looking at the world and how large and how much access people have right now? What is his advice to young people who are starting out in their own endeavor, correct?
All right. There's a saying, start small to be great. Start small to be great. If you're in the university and there's something you can, just like, there are some ladies who are in the university, they sell hair, they sell cream, they sell things online. That's starting of a mega thing that will happen later. So, but if you wait to finish school, it becomes a problem. Like, if your father is very rich and could afford to give you $1 million, but you have never been to a shopping mall to know how a mall operates, how goods are sold, how they are stocked, restocked, and so on, how to get the different customers. My brothers and sisters, that $1 million your father gave you, start a shop, you use it to do apprentice, to learn the trade. So there's a need to start early. And that's why I enjoy anytime I come to the United States and I see young people, 15, 16, running around in the shops, Walmart and so on, telling to customers and eateries and so on, earning their little dollars. That is preparation for a bigger picture. That is money management of what you could, nobody, and that's the irony of growing up in Africa. The irony of growing up in Africa is they start teaching you what is the surname of the King of England. What is your business with that? They never teach you financial management in African schools. They never teach you. And that's why many people have failed. Because you cannot be earning and you don't know how to manage and know that your transport takes this takes that, and so on. And at a particular time, you cannot send people money. So for startups, it is good to start early. And starting early is make your mistakes, learn from it, And when you learn from it, you come out better. But when you're in the university, you don't engage in anything, you used to come out with a first class, you're going to be a first class who works for a man who made a pass.
Questions, answers. Thanks for that. Please a round of applause for that. Personally, what I got from that is start small.
To be great.
Alexem Podcast is starting small. I started pretty smaller than this. Back in the days, it was just me and an iPhone. I was during the COVID, actually. I started my podcast shortly before the COVID, and when the COVID was there, I was just doing with my iPhone, and I was doing motivation. But over time, the views started increasing. I started going professional with it, and I kind of feel like this is even a start. I'm currently in conversations to get Peter over here next time, and I know that I am gonna take it even bigger than this. So when you started talking about starting small, you hit the name. You hit the name. And I truly believe that everyone in the audience right now listening to this can actually see the sense in this. That while you can tune into any other medium and all you get is entertainment to fuel your curiosity, sometimes it is imperative that you sit down and listen to discourse like this to stir something in you, stir something that just even getting you close proximity with someone who has done a lot and who's amongst many. Because I want to give you a little secret. When I was in Nigeria, there was this show called Big Brother Nigeria. Oh my goodness. I tried to sign up for that show. It was thousands of men. Couldn't make it in. I was among those who actually made it into the building, but I didn't make it through the audition. So when I looked at this, millions of people trying to get into this narrow field, I asked myself, what are the chances? And then I looked at these successful people who have done it. I asked myself, how many people are running for these positions? These are the few people who actually succeeded. So when I have these people in my space, I feel the energy and I try to absorb it. And that's the reason why I'm doing this. I created this room so that you can be close to someone who's been successful in something that millions of people were trying to get into. They couldn't. To be an actor is not a joke. It's not. Oh my goodness. To get to the audition is even a big deal. So, to become a successful podcaster is difficult. It's difficult to become a successful podcaster or to become a host, for people to listen to you. It's difficult to have people in the audience. So I do not take this for granted. It's not easy as well to actually get Mr. Kanayo here as well. Sacrifices were made, and I appreciate it. And I'm also grateful for the audience, for your time here, and I'm truly honored. My last question for tonight, to end this. And if you're in the audience, whatever we said tonight, I want you to take it as a grocery store approach. When you go to a store, you don't buy everything. You buy what will work for you. So buy what will work for you tonight. My last question is, in an era of rapid social media consumption, what do you think is the key to maintaining a successful and respected public image?
Simple language. Dress as you want to be addressed. Dress as you want to be addressed. As I said earlier, the social media offers you anything and everything. Social media has good sides, has ugly sides. Choose this day whom thou shalt worship. It's the name of the game. You can use social media to an advantage. You can also use it to destroy whatever people are thinking about. It depends on what you want. AI has come, has a lot of things it's going to offer. It's offering. Where it's going to go, people like me cannot decide. But the fact of the matter is this: many platforms have opened up. People are earning. Many platforms are pulled up. People are on it. Many people, I don't know whether you are aware, over 40 million people are on YouTube every night looking for what to watch. So if you key into the other content, and 2 million, 3 million people, some are depressed, some are homeless, some are out of jobs, and a message strikes them, and that's what they want to listen to at that moment. You get some money. So the era of being carefree, the era of people just criticizing for the sake of criticizing it, is gone. Embrace it for what you think you can create for you. For me, I think it's giving a lifeline to people like me who are in their 60s to mentor, empower, educate, inform people who have been seeing us for a long time doing the same business. So for me, it's a push to do greater things and earn money legitimately at my age. So I encourage everyone who is here to create content. We're all content creators. Everyone is a content creator. Depends on what content you create. So, lastly, it has come, just like the internet, with us. I don't know anyone here who is not connected to any data or what. You use it. What advantage do you use it? So please, watch what your children watch. It's very important. Be on the positive side of social media. When you are free to watch naked pictures to your own advantage or detriment. That's your own. Nobody can regulate that. You know, there are people, as we talk now, selling plots of land that they don't own through the internet, through the social media. It's part of fraud. If you're caught, you do the time. That's just what it is. If you're caught, you do the time. So, there are, every statement I make in any country I speak, I say there are 3 C's. Chances, choices, consequences. When God created us, He gave us chances. Out of those chances, you make choices. For every choice you make, there are consequences. Thank you.
Wow. What a wonderful to end the show. I am grateful for this time we spent, and I also want to use this opportunity to let you know that Mr. KOK is open to sign his book as a gift to you. If you want a copy of his book, here's an opportunity to get a copy of his book. And he's, like I said, he doesn't sell his book in the US, he only accepts appreciation. So you take photographs with him and the book and get a copy, a signed copy of his book. Other than that, I also want to say we are grateful for Continent DC to give us a space for the events. And we want to say thank you so much, Continent DC, for this. The temperature is good, the light is good, everything is really comfortable and conducive. I really appreciate it. Say thank you to Continent DC. Another way we can actually show our appreciation to Continent DC is by patronizing them, getting a shot of something or getting food. They have really nice cuisine, great food, great location, to hang out. You can always come back with family and friends here to hang out, and yeah, let's support the restaurant as well so they can keep the lights and everything running. And let's also support Mr. KOK by taking photographs with him and enjoying his book. Reading the book is actually important. Reading the book and getting inspired by his works. And with that, I want to say thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being part of the Alex Mason Show. And you all have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, everyone.